Yeah, there he is.
There he is.
We have established a visual. Yeah. So good morning, Jim. No, not good morning. It's already good afternoon.
It's evening almost. Yes.
Yeah. So we picked you. We got a visual on you right when you came down to the island. It was a beautiful moment because it was also beautiful weather.
It was.
So where are you from?
I'm originally from Tipperary, in the south of Ireland, which is farming country. Tipperary is inland, no seas, fresh water. I grew up fly fishing in little rivers and streams, and beekeeping and chasing rabbits and stuff like that. I didn't see the sea until I was 12. I remember the first day I saw the sea. We drove to see the sea, and now I know the tide was out. I didn't know then there was tides, and I was so disappointed. It was smelly and dirty, and I thought, oh, this smelly seaweed everywhere, and I didn't get it. I thought, is this the sea? And then I started reading, and the romance took over. I suppose what got me going at the start was there was a Welsh writer called Tristan Jones. Great old. Now, a lot of his tales may have been very tall tales, but I don't care. They were great stories, and he got me hooked on sailing. And I blagged my way onto a Glenan's course, and the French resistance group Glenan's, on Glenong, from Glenong, France. They had two bases in Ireland, and I went down to Baltimore in south of Cork to learn to sail. I should have started on dinghies, but I didn't. I pretended I knew more than I did, and I got onto small cruisers, which are musketeers, which actually have bubbles. They had little bubbles. I was reminded that tonight by a man who said, "Oh, that's an old musketeer bubble." So I started sailing little by little. Came and went over the years, bought and sold little boats, built little boats, until what have I done? Here we are sitting on Montclair in Rubicon Marina in Lanzarote on a homemade Globe 580, home-built Globe 580.
So what got you into the project?
From all the reading. I've read everything I could lay my hands on, particularly long-distance sailing and solo sailing, all that kind of stuff. And I always wanted to do a single-handed transatlantic. It was in the back of my head. I remember before I got married, I said to my wife, my now wife Mary, I said, be aware, be ready, somewhere, sometime, I want to sail across the Atlantic. And she said, okay, I'll let you. I'll give you that. And that was 25 years ago. And just about pandemic-y time, I saw this idea pop up on the internet, and I thought, and I gave it a few months to think. I thought, yeah, go, man. And it was a great excuse. It was a lovely combination of ideas. You had to build a boat, you had to sail the boat, you had to race the boat if you can race it, and there was deadlines. And it was the first one was the transatlantic, and it was just a beautiful combination of ideas that came together. And here I am.
Well done. So you were a bit late, and it's always tough to get a boat to the starting line, because usually that's the most heavy part of the race, to get to the start line. So how did the build go?
The build went very well, I thought. I probably took my time. That's the problem. I had fun. It was a pandemic. There was an there's an Irish TV channel called RT, Radio Telefredern, and they coined it the pandemic project. And it was a perfect pandemic project, because I was able to work on this boat 7 days a week. I had a garage outside the house. I got up in the morning, I brought the dirty clothes, I wander out and start doing something, and I did something every day. And little by little, I built the boat. Almost totally on my own. I got a guy in one day to help me turn it over, and we spun it over. I remember, I had to cut the rafters in the shed because I had measured it out that much. I thought it would spin, and it didn't. We got stuck in the rafters, so I had to cut the rafters and dig it out of the floor, and we turned it over, and then put on the cab and all the rest, and I kept building. And I thought I was finished when I had to cut the wall out of the garage door to get the boat out. I thought I was finished. No. I was less than halfway. Then I had to fit out the boat. all the stainless steel, all the fittings, all the stuff that makes a boat go, I had to then put on the boat, and that took longer than I expected. And COVID interrupted with getting materials, getting stuff. I had ordered several items from several different websites at the same time, and the first one that came, I cancelled other orders. So it's getting crazy. Like my life raft arrived the day before I left.
Oh, that's in time.
That's scary in time. That's not.
No, it's not comfortably in time.
It's not
No,
I was so anxious, and normally I'm not an anxious person. I consider myself very breezy and relatively carefree, but this wound me up because I knew I could see it building in my head what wasn't done and what had to be done, and this was a deadline.
Yeah.
And so I called in some great friends in Poolbeg Marina, Alan Murray and Roger Smith and people, great sailors, great friends, and I'm humbled and amazed at the help they've given me. And now I know you can't do it on your own.
No.
You really got to have people. I thought I could do it all on my own. You can't, because I'm a kind of a solo head. I'm a family man. I've a wife and children, but in my head, I'm essentially a solo kind of guy. Could walk up the mountains on my own for hours or days, and So, but when it comes to this, you kind of need a team to get stuff done in time. So they rallied support. I was amazed, and we put it on a trailer. We actually sailed it for 20 minutes on the River Liffey 10 days ago. And we put up the mast, put up the 2 sails, main and jib, and sailed up and on the river. Put it back on the trailer, or took down the mast, put it back on the trailer, and ferried it to Portugal.
And there we first met, and I was very looking forward to meeting you, because what you did is you did some stuff on TikTok, and I thought, yeah, this is cool.
Yeah.
Because
that was
what happened there?
That was weird. I was in the shed one day. My son introduced me to TikTok, and I thought, again, as most people do at my age, it was for kids, for dancing videos or karaoke kind of videos. And I signed up and I did it, and I was only on a day or two. I thought, I can do TikTok. And I was at the boat one day, I just picked up the camera and I did a little TikTok. I said, this is the start of a series of videos about building a ClassGlobe580 and a race across the Atlantic. And hit post, and the next morning I 2,500 followers, which made no sense at all. And that grew and grew and grew. Now I have 9,000 followers. Now in terms of TikTok, and it's not huge, but they're very consistent followers, and they comment every day. I get dozens and there recently hundreds of comments a day. So and there's people from all over the world who said to me, I know nothing about boats, but I love watching you build this thing. And I throw in little bits of information for non-boaties. I am explaining what I'm doing, so I have to do it in 60 seconds. I have to show what I'm doing, explain it, and wrap it up, and move on.
Never longer than 60 seconds.
So I love the limit to that. There's a lovely constraint.
Yeah.
You've got to get it right, and the vast majority do in one take. I maybe one in 20 if I really mess something up or I get something factually wrong. Oh no, that's wrong. Delete that and do it again. But the vast majority, one go and just go. Keep moving.
Very, very, very nice. I love that you were doing the TikTok finish, and it's just a nice boat to see. So it's a bit of a, you can see that the boat is built for purpose. Absolutely, it's a real form over function boat.
Yeah, it's sorry, function over form. Sorry, it's functional. It's every bit of it has a reason. There's no frills. I did add some frills, I have to say. When I was building it, there was a few little times where I could have taken shortcuts and drew straight lines, and I did little curves. I couldn't. It took an extra half an hour to cut a curve, a nice little chamfered edge. I said, why not?
I like your Traveller.
Yes, my oak, my Traveller, and my tiller and my rudder were made from solid. Actually, the rudder is solid teak, And the Traveller and the tiller are made from solid oak, made by a great craftsman in Blessington called Gordon Clark. He has a woodwork joinery, and he sourced lovely bits of teak or an oak, and we cut it out diddle shape, and he cut it out for me, and then I shaped it and epoxied it and put it in, and I like it. It's a nice bit of finish, I think.
Yeah, it's a nice piece of character. I love all the differences on the boats. They're the same lines, but they shine differently.
Yeah.
Oh.
To somebody who doesn't know boats, you think there's 6 different boats.
Yeah.
The colour schemes are totally different, and that camouflages the form and the shape and the look, and people have done little tweaks. Now, obviously, essentially, they are the same, but as you say, there's beautiful idiosyncrasies between them, which adds a little bit of character and makes them special.
Yeah. So when you came in Lagos, you were a week late. I was not alarmed because I've done multiple projects
I was.
that brings you late in.
Yeah.
And when you are really focused, you can get a lot of things done. So how did you manage to leave for the ocean, and how did you manage in your head actually to just say, okay, I've sailed my own built boat, my pandemic project, for 20 minutes on the River Livy, and now I just cast off and sail from Lagos to...
Sheer panic. Again, it was down to...
Panic kills, and you're still alive, so it couldn't be panic.
Okay, no, maybe not panic. A good pressure, good stress. Again, it's down to my friends. A Christian, the man who was building Hull 103, he arrived to see the boats, and himself and Alan Murray, they gave me a lot of help for the 3-4 days. We arrived on a Sunday. The guys left. 4 guys left on a Monday.
You arrived on Monday morning, very early.
Sorry, Monday morning. Monday morning, very early from the ferry. You're right, and they were leaving that day. So I went down to the marina and met the guys. Just literally, hello, hello, hello. So that's what other 580s look like. I'd never seen them in the flesh. They left. I saw Don's boat, and Christian and Alan and myself got stuck in, and we did as much as we could. I was down below, finished the wiring. I literally hadn't turned on the power till the day before, and I turned on the power switch and it didn't work. And I tested that. I had 2 main switches. Nothing. Got my little meter, checked it back. The switch was wrong, so I had to put up the marina or button the switch, and off we went. Anyway, so just put it all together, and those buddies said, "Listen, Jim, Donny's leaving on Wednesday. You're leaving on Thursday. Ready or not, we're going to cut your lines and push you out. You're gone." So that was it. So I literally got as much as I could do. We put on the self-steering the morning I left. I never got a chance to test it till I sailed out from the marina. I got everything I could find, put into bags and dumped them in the boat. And they're there since. I now have to spend the next week going through those bags and sorting and dumping properly. But that seems to be the way it is. Getting to the start line is the problem.
So did you consider it dangerous?
Dangerous out there?
No, to just leave and go with what you got?
No, I never. For some reason, I suppose I should have, but I didn't, because I knew the boat. I knew the boat was solid. Now, I hadn't sailed it, but I still knew instinctively it was a solid craft. And within 2 or 3 hours of sailing it, I knew I'm okay. This will get me home. This won't. I knew of the whole system that I was the weakest part. That I will break down before the boat will break down. And that can be reassuring in a way, because then it's up to me.
Yeah. And how was the sail down?
Sail down, I was exhausted starting. I didn't know I was, but I was. So I started, I was talking to Don the day before. He said it's 210 degrees straight from here, 210, go. And I came out of Alagoose, played around for 10 minutes to get the sails ready, tweaked the self-steering gear, checked 210 on the compass, and went. Within an hour I was in bed, exhausted. I passed out for hours. I woke up, drank something, checked the steering. It was okay. A few little tweaks here and there. And for the next, I think, 2.5 days, I did nothing, only check the steering and pass out down below, unconscious. Now I had my AIS on, so if anything passed, bing, bing, bing. But then I gradually came around and I ate and slept properly. I had one bad night. The Sunday night was a ropey night. It was big seas, big wind. Remember, I was out checking the steering and I had a head torch on. I could pitch black night, and the torch picked up the white line of coming behind me. Jumped in the hatch, but my safety line was on here, and the water popped in. Then I closed the hatch, and the second wave came in, and some splashed up on the hatch. I thought, ooh, I'm out sailing now. Here we go, we're off.
And the eating, how did that went?
Eating went okay. I was eating less than I expected. I thought I'd eat loads, but I didn't. I ate very light, but enough. And I have a bucket. Shall I introduce you to my bucket? No.
I know them all.
You met all the buckets.
Yeah. And so, were there things while sailing that you thought, ooh, this I should have been doing really, really different?
Yeah, I probably should have. I should have packed better. I should have planned my packing. I literally had to rummage through everything to find everything. If I wanted to find a toothbrush, I had to go through 5 bags. If I wanted to find that bit of cheese I bought, there was actually some. Again, friends gave me food before I left, and they threw in lots of bits of cheese. But there was one particular little pack of 3 packs of cheese, and they kept turning up everywhere. They just kept moving around the boat. They were under my feet. They were under my pillow one night. What? How do you do this? And they're still here. I haven't eaten them yet. I can't bring myself to eat them. Someday.
So the name of the boat, what can you tell me about it?
She's named Molly Clare. Before I named her, I had great ideas. I was going to call her fancy names like Goddo, and I thought then if I'm late, they'll be waiting for Goddo. I'll be in last, but it'd be okay. It'd be cool. They'd be waiting for Goddo for me. Or I was going to. There was lots of classical names I thought of, but my wife informed me very early on. My wife is from the west of Ireland. Actually, her lineage is from Clare Island, which is a famous island of a pirate queen called Granuaile. She was a famous queen, a pirate queen in the west of Ireland. A great sailors, great bodies, but her people come from that. And the tradition in the west of Ireland is that you name a boat after the female members of your family. So my wife's name is Mary, but she's nicknamed Molly, and my daughter's name is Claire, so it's called Molly Clare, and that's it. No question about it.
It's always nice that it's a bit, it's clear.
It's clear.
It's clear. Yeah, it's beautiful. So now a question, and if you don't want to answer it, just don't. What did you chuck in money-wise till this very minute?
A lot more than I expected. In my naivety, I somehow thought I'd get away with 15,000. 15,000 will get you a finished hull. It won't get you on the sea. I reckon I'm past 25,000, and I haven't been. I'm not an accountant. I'm not good at counting, so I deliberately don't count. But in my head, I think I'm past 25,000, give or take.
So let's
put
like in the other old 5,000
so
that you forgot.
Yeah.
So you're looking
that
at
I choose to forget.
More or less 30,000.
Yeah. It's like the life raft is €1,000. The AIS was €1,200. The electric engine was €1,200, and that's a cheap one. Was €1,200. That's €1,200. That's €3,000. More than €3,000 for 3 items. Whew. Suddenly, boom, budget out the window.
Yeah.
You know, and that's the way it seems to be, because you have to get those bits, or you just can't go.
Yeah. So that's not bad, eh? Because I asked this question to all the guys, and you're the last one in. So I can say you did well.
Thank you very much.
Okay, how was arriving? Because it was a slow arrival for you, and you chose as the only one to go east.
East. Well, I wasn't tracking them. I couldn't track them, so couldn't track them. So I didn't know they went around the west of the island. And I looked at it before I left. I thought, well, down the east looks the shortest, and in my head I was coming down the east anyway. I was afraid of a lee shore. But when I got to the northeast of the island, I was radioing different ship captains, and they all said fair, maybe 3 to 4 max. So I said, okay, I'll go down. And then yesterday just died, it went less. So I had to creep down. I had hoped to get in here yesterday evening, but I knew early on that wasn't going to happen. So when I read this, finally got to read the charts too, they said, do not approach harbours or marinas after dark. So I said, okay, so the old seaman trick, stand off until morning. So I crept my way down the coast of the east, doing 1 and 2 knots, slowly, and I knew we'd be here after daybreak. And I timed it just right. I think I timed it just right for the reception party.
Oh yes. Yeah.
Thank you very much.
It was wonderful seeing you coming in. And,
it was wonderful to come in.
yeah.
Absolutely. And it was a wonderful morning. So like the sun was shining. My first time to see, first time here and to see the mountains, glorious backdrops. I'm sure from Don's point of view and from the optics of it, from the visuals, it looked great.
Yeah.
To have a boat coming in sunshine and the mountains behind and the sun shining and all nice and fresh.
Yeah. So what is your plan for the next week?
Next week is, well, today I've just ate and talked and walked. Some lovely meals and beers. I have to do a complete tidy up. I have to start from stem to stern, go through the boat. I have a few little things to tweak sailing wise. My furler on the A5, I put on a 5mm line, should be a 6mm line, so it's spun, and I had to go forward twice and hand wind it up, which isn't fun.
No.
And then I couldn't trust it, so I didn't use it as much as I should have used it. So I have to fix that, a few little bits and pieces, and just make sure I know where everything is tidy and shipshape, and I can put my hand on anything in the dark. That's the plan, because I might have to.
Yeah.
So I spend the next week doing that, and eating, drinking, making merry, making friends, and psyching myself up, because I've never sailed across the Atlantic single-handed on my own, and I don't know. I've heard it's easy, I've heard it's horrible, I've heard all different things. I hope it's elating, exciting, not too frightening. I want to be wowed with night skies, not wowed with big seas. I don't like, my brother-in-law is a part owner in boats I've had before, Thomas, and he loves drama. He wants big seas and big waves, and I don't want any big seas, big waves. I want 3 force 4, blow along and enjoy the ride. That's what I want.
Okay, so we will let you to it, and we'll see you working on it, and thank you very much for this short interview.
Thank you.
1-0.
Woo!